Hello and welcome to the show, Your Real Estate Today. It's Paul Jameson, your host. Happy Saturday. We are glad you're with us on this Saturday, and wherever you are, we hope you are safe, warm, and COVID-free, and ready to listen to a show about real estate. As I said, I'm your host. I'm the owner of the Jameson family of companies. That's Jameson Realty, Jameson Property Management, Jameson Property Investments. I'm also here with Sandy Dickinson with Summit Funding. Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad that you're with us today. Sandy's going to give us a mortgage update, but I'm going to just launch right into it. If you all know and have listened to the show before, we're here to talk about your home and ways to make things better, whether you're an investor, a buyer, a seller, or just a homeowner looking to do things to take care of your home. That's why we're here. So here's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with, like we always do, what did I learn this week? What did I do that was memorable? Well, I had a great time. I came up with this little definition of the word renting. Definition of the word renting. It means when you are already paying a mortgage, but it's just not your own. So a lot of renters are turning into owners these days. But I also came up with 6 reasons to remind people why they should sell right now. Number 1 is home buyers' demand is strong, and it's really stronger than I've ever seen it. And since May, it's up 44.3%. And what are some good things with that demand? Number 1 is contingent offers are a lot more palatable to home sellers now. Contingent means that if a buyer has to sell their own home first or get it closed in order to have the money to buy, it used to be that, sellers turned their nose up at that. Now they're more open because they may need to do it too to get their next home. So it's all about the terms related to that. Next, offers, they're actually good and strong, and people are getting it. That's why the deal's getting done. They're actually writing good offers. Next is homes these days need a little fix-up, and they are excited about the fact that they can put some DIY tweaks on things. Yay for that. TV and YouTube and all that kind of stuff give people a lot of different options that they can do to fix up their home. Yay for that. Also, banks are lending money. Sandy is lending money. Yay for Sandy lending money.
All day long.
She got lots of it, and they're very active. All right. You can get a mortgage, and a good one. Number 2, inventory is really low, 1.2 months around our market. That means if no houses came on the market right now in 1.2 months, they'd all be sold. Hello? Yahoo! All right, next. Home prices are up nationally about 7.7% and around here about 11%. Did you hear me? Around here, about 11%. Do I hear you clapping out there? Are you clapping? I thought so. Things like good news. Charlotte's unemployment rate is now only at 7%. It was much higher. New home closings are up 8.7%. New home startups are up over 9%. And the average new home price is $383,386. We're living well here in Charlotte, folks. We are very blessed. It's awesome. All right. Number 4, mortgages are low. Yes, low. Under 3% right now as we speak for a 30-year fixed rate conventional finance loan. Am I being correct in that, Sandy?
In some cases, yes.
With the proper credit score and a paragraph of footnotes.
That's right.
All right. The economy is also starting to recover. We're seeing signs of it in many places. If we can avoid the Cooper stupor, we can keep things going. Yes, I just said that. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. Please just realize it rhymed and I liked it, so I said it. All right, next. The needs of the buyer have changed. The needs of the buyer have changed. Okay? They're looking to get out of the downtown areas. And they want to get to the burbs or farther. All right? The need for more room. Offices or school or whatever they're going to use it for, they need that room in their house for those things. People are looking to go a little bit bigger to accommodate that they're going to work at home from now on. Or they got to have a school room from now on. Or mom and dad have moved in forever from now on. All right? They want more of an outdoor experience. Pool, patio, outdoor living, a little bit of land, want to do a garden, want kids to have a room to play, want the puppy and the puppy's friends to play in the fenced yard outside. They're looking for a little bit more space. And they're willing to drive farther, and the areas of train movement is growing. So if they need to get somewhere, they can in the outer city limit experiences. So it's all very, very positive reasons. If you'd like to learn more, you can get a copy of my book, Opportunity is Knocking. You can get it at pauljameson.com or on the web at amazon.com through the Prime section. And they cost the same, except you order it at pauljameson.com. I send you an autographed copy. All right. All right, Sandy, what's the mortgage update?
So at least at the moment that we're speaking, the market is fairly steady, and it's a little bit happy. I think they're glad that with the Senate remained Republican, so that causes for some steadiness. Mortgage applications are up, of course, and we're about 2/3 of them are still refis. The only reason we're not doing more purchases is because of what you said. The inventory is low. The demand is certainly there, and they're struggling to find the houses that they want to buy. But we've got the market's great, just like you said. So we're loving that. The rates are still about 1% below what they were last year. The jobs created were about half of what they expected based on the ADP report that we received this week. We overall had lost about 19.7 million. Due to COVID, and we're back about 9.6. So we still have a ways to go, and it's coming along slowly, but it's coming along. So I would say things are looking optimistic.
That's good. That's very good. Wanted to add one more thing, Sandy, about why purchase a rental right now. And of course, you can help people with that as well, can't you?
Sure, absolutely. I would love to help.
The market's really tight right now for purchase. Rentals are in great demand, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They really are. Well, all these people from California, New York, Boston are coming. We asked the Democrats to stay back home, but listening. The biggest problem
coming anyway
is they're voting. We'll take you anyway. You'll change. It'll be fine. Market volatility. The stock market volatility. If you're like me and in a place where you want income, this is a good way to balance out your portfolio. Cash flow is always key to retirement stability. And one of my favorite things about rental property over other things is I'm in control of it. I control what happens to it. And I like that. It makes a lot of difference to me. All right. Well, we're glad you're with us. Coming up for the rest of the show, we've got Marty and Sam Ivy. We're going to talk about old homes and turnoffs, and we're going to talk about all kinds of things related to your home and so much more. The Show Your Real Estate Today are on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Show Your Real Estate Today. Howdy. TJ, you really go all out with this music. I think you sit around at night and, look for, like Barry Whitish kind of beginning of game show.
That's exactly what I want to do.
I know. Every day. I know. Just for me.
Yes.
I love that about you, brother. I love that. Welcome back to Show Your Real Estate Today. Paul Jameson, your host here with the Jameson family of companies. Thank you for being with us on your Saturday. We hope you're safe and happy wherever you are. Here with Marty and Sam Ivy with Ivy Exterminating. Been around since 1954. Right, Marty?
That's it.
Yeah, 1954. I've learned something every time we do this.
Yes.
It's fun. Marty,
Yes.
let's start the show with a conversation that you and I had yesterday, and with a conversation that I had with my staff again this morning. As I said in the beginning of the show, one of the things I want to do is I want to share with you something. Marty does a lot of work for us. Yesterday they were at my house, taking down cobwebs and spraying the exterior and, doing their quarterly pest treatment at my house, and doing all that, and, love that. But one of the things he did for me and for my staff really affects our health. And
Right.
I am my office is in the oldest home in town in Matthews, built in 1877.
Wow.
And the crawl space proves that it was built in 1877 because it is made up of rough cut wood. It is hard to get around. It is very narrow, and it is very old. And every time you came in, it smelled like old house, or if it'd been closed up for the weekend, or if a possum would happen to crawl up in there and die, Sam would have to go get it. But the air quality wasn't because it was bad as a building. It's just old house and old dirt and an old place. And Marty put in a dehumidifier and sealed the vents. Within 24 hours, my employees came to me and said, Paul, this is like a new office. I feel better. I don't smell the smells. I noticed it right away.
Well, Paul, that's so refreshing to hear, because so many times we do what we do and we don't get a lot of input or response about what we do. But it is amazing when you block that air from coming from the outside environment and how it comes to the crawl space, odors with it and brings it up inside the livable space. They say up to about 46% plus of the indoor air comes through the crawl space up into the structure. And once you stop that process and you dehumidify that air, it's amazing how the improved air quality occurs inside the structure. I mean, it's amazing that most people don't notice it as quick as you did, but in your case, houses that was built in the 1870s were not very tight construction. It was very loose construction. And, now that you figure that part of that process has been stopped, that air filtrating from the crawl space up into the house. And people just don't realize what an impact that has. And, when you're smelling odors, those odors are coming from somewhere. And typically it's some type of enzyme trying to break something down. Many cases we do dehumidifiers every day. And it's amazing the process. You come back a couple of years later and the people talk about how it slowed the maintenance down on the house, how it slowed how their energy bills became less, their power bills became less. It's amazing what it does to a crawl space. I mean, it's amazing what it does to the maintenance of the house. It'll slow the painting down. It'll slow the caulking down. It slows everything down because you don't have that expansion and contraction that occurs. It's fascinating to me. I see it every day. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. My crawl space was encapsulated going on almost 20 years ago. I encapsulated my crawl space. And do you know that figuring the retail price of what that encapsulation would have cost, just on my energy savings alone, I got that money back within 7 years. In 7 years, I got that money back.
Yeah.
And that was just on energy savings.
People don't understand, Marty. Yeah.
Sir?
People don't understand. You also did it at my home.
Right.
You've done it at rental property for me.
Right.
It makes a significant difference.
Yes. And improved health too. I mean, we've had people that have the crawl space care done on their homes and they come back later at day and they say, I'm not itching anymore. I'm not breaking out in rashes. I'm not sneezing. I'm not having these adverse effects. It's amazing what that does. I mean, I've said it on the show many times. I believe within 5 years, there'll be no more open air crawl spaces built. They're just ones, they just don't make sense. I mean, there's been a lot of scientific testing done on them, and it's in the science is black and white. It's not a healthy home if your crawl space is exposed to open air from the exterior. It's just not a healthy process.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's amazing.
You know, people get under the belief that they think that that when you've got a crosser, it has to breathe. Well, that lumber is not living, and only thing that moisture or humid air is going to do to that crawl space or that wood in that crawl space is to cause it to swell up and expand and contract over season changes. Right now, all the wood in the crawl space is contracting, and that's the reason doors will quit fitting, stick, and all. You'll have fascinating to see how that expansion contraction occurs.
You know, Marty, again, you know, it's very easy for somebody from the outside to say, oh, you know, Marty, Ivy, and Sam, you know, Paul's just doing this, you know, endorsement on this product. You know, let me just tell you, the reality of what impact this has made for my staff, the reality of what impact it has made on the health of our business and on my home, this is real. And this really is healthy for your home, and it really does save you money. It doesn't cause any additional expense. You guys come out and you inspect it on an annual basis, make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to be working. Or is it twice a year? I can't remember. Once or twice a year you come out. Well, you're out at my house every quarter, so you know, you're out. I just see all, I mean, but I love it. I really think if you have a crawl space, and whether you're having issues or not, you may not know, right? You guys can come out and tell people what's going on, can you not?
We can. And you know, that's a transfer of energy that's going on right now. And right now is a good time for us to come out and take a look at it. And the best way they can reach us is call us on 704-334-1616 or bugivy.com.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't be more pleased with everything that's going up. And so what we're going to talk about later on the show with Marty and Sam is also what else is starting to try to come inside right now, which is the rodents, AKA mice and rats. And we're going to talk about some baiting programs and the difference between using a baiting program and using chemicals to treat yourself. Chemical. If you use chemicals to treat yourself, you might need some help. Chemicals to treat for termites around your home. Now, I think you have Thermador at my house, right, Marty?
You're correct.
Yeah. Okay. And we're going to talk about the differences between those two things. And then, as promised, I'm going to talk to you about what can turn a showing south and finish up what makes an old house scream grandma or grandpa, I guess, to be equally go inclusive that way. But also, if you're interested, don't forget, I've got a book out called Opportunity is Knocking. You can find it at pauljamison.com. It's about investment property and property management. We'd love to have you get a copy. You can go to pauljamison.com or, of course, Amazon Prime and order it either way. All right. Well, we'll be right back with Marty and Sam Ivy to show you real estate today here on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Stay with us. Welcome back to Show Your Real Estate Today. Paul Jamison here, your host. Hello. Happy Saturday. We're glad that you're with us, and we're glad that you are spending time to hear about ways we can help you with your home. I'm Paul Jamison, your host, owner of the Jamison Companies. That's Realty, Property Management, Property Investments, here with Marty and Sam Ivy with Ivy Exterminating. So glad you're spending time with us today. All right. Now, as promised, I am going to share with you, I'm going to the pages, about, first of all, what can make a showing go south? What can make a showing go south? Now, the last time, so if you look back to the other shows to get what I'd said, number one was odors, and we talked about odors. That's pretty much a way to turn things off. Pets, we talked about. I think we did that last week. We talked about how a pet became friendly with me and how they've escaped, and I've had to deal with them. That can make a showing go south. Also, pests we talked about. You know, a dead bug in the middle of the floor doesn't mean, oh, it's dead, so it's okay. That is not a good sign. You know, clean them up if they're there. Popcorn ceilings can make a showing go south, or sometimes the acoustic tiles are never a big plus. You know, the popcorn ceiling, and a lot of times when something has leaked up above, you know, it looks like you're putting cottage cheese on the ceiling, and it never matches. Wall-to-wall carpet can make a showing go south. I had a house that I ended up actually purchasing that had carpet in the bathroom. That's always a little creepy because you know that it's gotten wet. I mean, it might be cushy on your feet and all. Have you all seen that commercial where the guy takes a shower in a shag carpeted shower? Have you seen that? That's just nasty. I mean, it made me creep out when I saw it. That would do it. All right.
Yeah.
An outdated heating system can make a showing go south. Well, yeah, I would think so, especially when it's cold. Cracks in the wall. Okay. Let's talk about that a minute. So that's a misunderstood thing. Unless you're a crackologist or a structural engineer, don't start making assumptions that there's something structurally wrong because there's a crack in the wall. Okay? Is a clack a cross between a crack and something else? Maybe it is. A clack is a crack versus lack of understanding. Call them a clack.
Yeah.
There you go. So it could be a sign of something wrong. I'm not saying that, but it could also be just a poorly done seam and sheetrock tape that's coming out, sheetrock tape. Could be a settlement that happened one time shortly after construction because, as Marty said before, during the seasons, the house expands and contracts. You know, so just don't be a clack and until you discover what's wrong with the crack. Okay, so now, taking care of that. Do with that what you want. Unpermitted upgrades. That's a big turnoff for showings. Making sure you have permits. Spend the money. It isn't expensive. Work with the county and make sure things are done to code. I'm not talking about minor things that don't need a permit, like changing light fixtures and painting and all that kind of stuff. But if you add a bathroom under the stairwell and you don't get it permitted, it's no good in the future sale. You can't talk about it. So, you know, get it permitted. All right, here's another thing that's a big turnoff. When you're out on a showing and you're showing a house and there's a room that's locked, a whole bedroom. That's a turnoff. I mean, what's in there?
It's a turnoff. I mean,
no, you got to know what's in there.
No, you got to know what's in
there. You want to see the
there.
whole house. You don't want to see this part of the house. So your teenage kid didn't clean up. If you lock a room, people are going to think you're hiding something. You know, and if you're growing something in there, then don't do it. It's not legal.
For sure.
Okay, and here's another thing. Sweat the small stuff, okay? You know, if your trim has a layer of dirt on it, you know, the size of the velour on Marty's Velvet Elvis painting over his mantle, you need to clean it. Sweat some of the small stuff, all right? Or if you got, you know, so much dirt on your ceiling fan, it's longer than the hair on my head.
It's longer than the hair.
Clean it. Sweat some of that little stuff, some of those little to-dos, that doorknob you didn't remember to put on, or the closet doors that are sitting next to the closet that all you need to do is put them on. Do those little things. Okay.
Do those
All right.
little things.
We have completed
All right. We have
what
completed
turns off
what
people at a
turns off-
show. You need to listen to the last show, because in the last show we talked about the cat that vomited in the shape of Christmas trees. You remember that, TJ? It took us 15 minutes not to stop, just to be able to speak. All right. Okay. So what makes an old house scream grandma or grandpa, to be equal opportunity screamer? Okay. So we went through a whole bunch of things. We talked about the duck wallpaper with a cotton gin. We talked about carpet in the bathroom, which also was one we just talked about before. Vertical blinds are out. They make it scream old house. Get rid of those vertical blinds. Wood art and wall decor like live, love, laugh. Wooden signs all over the place. It's great for Cracker Barrel, but it's not good for the house. All right. Tile countertops. Tile countertops, with grout in the middle, or what they call the poor man's granite, where you get granite tiles and you stick them all together, and instead of getting one piece of granite, and they don't line up right, and food and germs and stuff get down in there and on that grout and stuff, and it's just not a pretty thing. If you're going for a kind of a Tuscan theme, maybe the tile countertops might work, but that's going to be a pretty specialized theme, and probably only about 1 in 300 people would like it. So don't do that either. Linoleum. Sheet linoleum does scream a little bit old house, especially if it's, green in color, or, has a pattern of flowers all over the floor, or if it's asbestos tile, that's kind of out. That kind of screams old house, just saying. And don't get a chisel and break it up. That would be bad for your health. All right. Wallpaper borders scream old house. Wallpaper borders. Who's seen the bunnies running around the room in the wallpaper borders? Oh, that's a happy sight. That makes you feel refreshed. Or the foxes running around chasing the bunnies, or kitty cats, playing with a dandelion on their back and a ball of yarn. Oh, that's always fun when it comes to the old borders. Great. Or just, footballs from one end to the other. All right. Pine furniture. You got to think about the impression that leaves. It was cool for a while, and it's great in the mountains, but pine furniture does scream old house. I'm just saying. Stenciling and faux walls. Ralph Lauren got everybody hooked on that, including my wife. It's out. Don't do it. No Ralph Lauren. Say goodbye, Ralph. Yo, you're out of here. We're covering you up. Floral accents. A few florals in a room are fine. You say that 5 times fast out there. All right. But floral turns into florist. It's got to go. Next, heavy window treatment. Valance boxes make a room more closed in and more claustrophobic and do nothing but attract dust. Those boxes aren't worth anything. Burn them. Say goodbye. Next, old appliances. If there's aluminum foil in those burner wells or flour covers over the burner, it may be old reliable, but it's time to replace it. All right. Take those lids off the burners and put them back on a box of cookies and give it to somebody as a gift. Time to let them go. Colors also matter. Yes, everybody wants white and black or polished metal. Green and brown are no longer popular. That's kind of too bad. I thought some of those colors were pretty cool. The pink ones. Did you ever see the pink appliances? Those were pretty cool. All right. Okay. As promised, we have made it through Grandma, Grandpa, and what turns you off in a showing. And when we come back, we're going to talk about rodents and baiting systems with the Ivies. We'll be right back. I'm Paul Jameson, your host to Show You Real Estate Today. Stay with us here on News Talk 1110 993 WBT. Welcome back to Show Your Real Estate Today. Hey, it's Paul Jameson, your host. So glad that you're with us today. Thank you for spending your Saturday with us. I'm the owner of the Jameson Companies. That's Realty, Property Management, Property Investments. If you want to talk to us, it's 846-DONE, 846-3663, or on the web at myjamesonhomes.com. Here with the Ivies, Sam and Marty Ivy. If you want to talk to them, 704-334-1616 or bugivy.com. All right, as promised, we are going to talk about rodents, rats and mice. And they're going to tell you that they've got their bags packed and they're wanting to get in your house, right?
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Are they packing for the winter? Are they bringing like a suitcase, a rollaway, a cot, a camper?
Little U-Hauls, and they're backing the U-Haul up to your foundation vents. They're unloading the whole entire family. It's like that movie Ratatouille on steroids.
That's right. Backing up the U-Haul, Sam, and everybody's pregnant.
That's what everybody's pregnant. It's going to be
including the males.
Happy Thanksgiving and Christmas.
That's right. Are they wearing masks?
No, they don't believe in that social distancing thing. They think it's all a scam. I think it's political mumbo jumbo, and apparently they're immune to COVID. So they're
okay. Okay.
No, but it is definitely that time of year, and especially now, past week we've had really cold weather. It's gotten down below freezing, and everything underneath the sun that's still out living is trying to get inside your house to stay warm and overwinter, and especially rodents. And rodents are one of those things that nobody ever likes to talk about. Everybody thinks they're immune to them, but everybody gets them at some point in time. And so it's great this time of year, especially before the holidays get here and you run into big problems, because nobody likes having that awkward smell hanging around Thanksgiving, and you got to figure out where that smell is coming from. So go ahead and take some steps early on to address it. Go around your house. I mean, a mouse can fit through an opening the size of a shirt button, and mice don't.
Hold on,
really
Sam. Wait, stop. What?
A mouse can fit through an opening.
I didn't ask for the sound effects. I just wanted to know what you said.
I said a mouse can fit through an opening the size of a shirt button or a dime. So
come on, man. There's no way. How do they do that?
They are little contortionists. And basically, if all this wildlife, if they can fit their head through it, they can contort the rest of their body and get it through as well too. I mean, a rat is going to go through an opening the size of a quarter, and a 40-pound a raccoon can go through a 4-inch square opening. And I've literally seen it where a raccoon has gone from a roof and gone down the gutter down the downspout and come out through the bottom to get back off of that roof. And so you think about how Mother Nature can contort itself to get into your home, and think about the gaps and cracks around our home. We really got to do some work. One of the common areas mice will show up in is in the garage area. A lot of people don't pay attention to the weather stripping on the bottom of the garage door, and it will dry out and deteriorate over time and get little gaps and cracks around the edges, and those mice will just squeeze their little selves right inside. And if you go out into your garage, a good tip to let you know if you're dealing with rodent issues is look to the right or left of the door. Those little sensors are, and look to see if you see little black pellets found their way into your garage. Another common area that they show up in houses is going to be in the kitchen sink areas or up around your oven or ranges. A lot of times when they're doing construction, they won't really seal up around the plumbing lines or the gas lines, and those rodents will come up through those areas. You can take some Brillo pads, steel wool, aluminum foil or copper mesh and stick up in those little voids, or you can go to Lowe's and get a can of great stuff, expandable foam, and squirt that in that holes, and that will help kind of prevent and exclude those rodents from getting inside your house. But the best line of defense is having us come out, take a look at your situation. We can put some stuff in your crawl space to prevent them from getting into the home. And definitely something that you need to be on the lookout this fall and winter season.
All right. So let me ask you this question. So I have a Ring camera, and every night about 2 a.m., the Ring camera goes off, and I look out in my driveway, and there's a raccoon that is walking around on my driveway and along the edge of my garage door. It doesn't seem to go in, because I would see it go in to the garage. Is it living somewhere in my house coming down, or is it living somewhere near? How do I get rid of that thing? Do I trap it? Do you come out and trap it for me? What do we do?
Do I trap it? Do you come out and trap it for me? What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely, we can handle some of your wildlife issues. We can come out and trap it and get rid of it. You know, a lot of this wildlife, the state's got requirements where you have to carry it so many miles away from the house. And partly the main reason for that is because they can find their way back to your house. And so you literally have to get them so far away that it disorients them from where kind of the home and their nesting ground is. And so we can come out and we can take a look and see what the signs are, where the tracks are, where kind of some of the problem areas are, and give you some steps and some solutions to prevent that from happening. But, you know, Mother Nature is like all things. Once it reaches kind of a population density in one area, it feels that pressure, and it's got to start expanding, looking for other areas to set up shop and have a nest, have a home, get a nice cooked meal, and unload that U-Haul. So take those steps early on so you don't have to deal with them getting into your crawl space. You know, a lot of people, especially kind of in the Myers Park area, you've got a lot of older homes, and they'll put additions on, or they'll move a bathroom, and the plumbers will come in and they'll cut off the old cast iron pipes, so they won't properly seal them up. And about 9 times out of 10, if one of those homes calls us saying that they've got a problem with rats in their crawl space, it's because of one of those cast iron pipes that hasn't been properly sealed up correctly. And those rats, I mean, we've had a couple homeowners where those rats have gotten in there and done about $15,000 worth of damage because they've ripped out half of the insulation. They've peed and pooped all over it. They have literally cut and shredded electrical lines, HVAC lines in the house, and the homeowners have had to redo their whole entire HVAC system. So you definitely want to stay on top of your rodents.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we got a couple minutes left. Let's talk about bait stations versus chemical treatments for termites.
Yeah, definitely. This is a huge topic for us right now. We're getting, and this is what I find is fascinating. There are a lot of customers that are calling. They're being forced to go into a baiting program, and they can read between the lines that the baiting program just doesn't seem to be the best solution, and they're looking for other alternatives. And the best solution is to go ahead and get it taken care of one time, have complete peace of mind, put liquid treatment around the property so that you know you're going to be taken care of for 10 years and you don't have to worry about termites showing up in your house.
Yeah. And the bait stations are those little green
guys around your yard. Yep.
Yeah, and the termite is supposed to hopefully trip over it on its way to your house.
Supposedly.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
So if
what
they
people
want to do
don't-
that, go ahead, Marty.
What a lot of people don't realize is the baiting programs, they put one station roughly every 10 to 20 feet around the exterior of your home. The problem that you get into is the law of probability. And a lot of probability says more steps in any program, more likelihood of failure. That's the reason baiting programs don't have great success.
Yeah. How do they get in touch with you guys?
Give us a call, 704-334-1616 or bugivy.com.
Thanks, Marty and Sam. I appreciate it. 334-1616 or bugivy.com, and ask them to put you on hold. They got the greatest hold button you've ever seen. You can reach us at 846-DONE, 846-3663, or on the web at myjamisonhomes.com. Thank you all for spending Saturday with us. God bless. We hope to talk to you soon. We'll talk to you next week, actually, to show you real estate today here on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT. Take care.